Yes, we are back. Top of the hour on a busy it's Friday. Yes, thank God it's Friday. Yeah, thank God it's Friday. We are back on a busy Friday morning, talking some sports. We talked about Campo being getting information from the inside of the Dallas Cowboys organization, taking shots at Dan Quinn, even though Quinn is gone, trying to say he was too chummy with the players, something that the sports media never really broadcasted, never really put out there. And the way that he was talking so confidently from his Jacksonville home about situations going on in another state led me to believe that there's something else going on in Dallas. Also, we talked about JJ Redick getting his comeuppance from Pat Beverly over his comments made about Doc Rivers. Then we talked about Draymond Green taking a run at Yusuf Nurkic and Kevin Durant, a story I tried to get out of for a long time. Also, we're going to switch lanes. We're going to go right back to the association. The Wizards, they benched Jordan Poole. And interim coach Brian Keefe, he says that this was really a positive. I don't know how. I don't really know how. I don't really know where to go with that. Because Jordan Poole, if people can remember, when the Warriors won their last championship, that guy looked unguardable. I mean, he looked like nobody knew what they were going to do with him. He looked like he was here to stay. And then it just started to go downhill. It started to go downhill for him. And we'll talk about that when we come back from a quick 20-second break from an unofficial sponsor of the show. This is Big Vern at App Stupid. Planet Fitness, Big Fitness Energy. Big Fitness Energy at Planet Fitness. Download the app or visit the good folks at the Planet Fitness, at your local Planet Fitness. That's a judgment free zone. So work out, feel good, do what you got to do. Planet Fitness. Okay, so we were talking about Jordan Poole and the fall that he has taken since he left the Golden State Warriors team and that system. It seemed like they somehow got a camera into a practice. I don't know how that happened. But then you saw Draymond Green sucker punch him and put him down for the count. And then they traded him away. A lot of people felt like Jordan Poole was the future of the Golden State Warriors, and he was filling in. Klay Thompson was trying to rebound and get back to who he was. But nonetheless, the Washington Wizards, they tried something new with Jordan Poole in Thursday's game against the Nuggets, where they went ahead and moved him to the bench. And Keefe, he announced this move ahead of the game, initially opting not to disclose the fifth-year guard's replacement in the starting lineup. So how can this be positive if you didn't even tell me who was replacing me in the starting lineup? And they went with the rookie. Bilal Coulibaly, and I could be getting that wrong. Don't quote me on that. Now, he took Poole's spot, joining Tyus Jones, Denny Avaja, Kyle Kuzma, and Marvin Bagley III to open the game. The Wizards are 9-46. Oh my goodness. And they lost the game 130 to 110 to stretch their losing streak to 9 games. And Poole scored 18 points on 4 of 17 shooting off the bench. Keefe emphasized that the move isn't a knock against Poole. What? If it's not a knock against him, why would you have a rookie start over him? You took a guy out of a lineup who's a definite scorer, and you put a rookie in front of him, and then somehow try to spin it as a positive. And at least Brian Keefe he's sipping his own Kool-Aid. He says, it's really a positive. It's actually a credit to Jordan. Jordan's been one of our highest net ratings since I've taken over. And I just want to see more of that. That's what Keefe told reporters. This gives him an opportunity now, being in that unit, to be the lead handler, lead decision maker, and kind of be our offensive engine. How, sir? How is he supposed to do that being a six man? If he's coming off the bench, you're not subbing a whole new five. You'll take out somebody who may be in foul trouble or somebody who isn't producing on the offensive end, and he's just going to fit in. You're not putting him in with a whole new five. It just didn't make sense. And look, Brian Keefe wasn't done. He said Poole was professional when receiving the news that he'd be coming off the bench, but the development probably isn't ideal for the 24-year-old. It's been a bumpy road since Poole signed that 4-year, $128 million extension with the Golden State Warriors, just to be traded for Chris Paul and some future draft picks less than a year later. And I covered that, and like how far this guy has fallen, to the point where you all are starting rookies over him and then trying to put lipstick on a pig. If anything, they're getting ready to trade Jordan Poole. Because when you go from being perceived as this starter who can change the future of the Washington Wizards, and they get really bad, the interim coach, he understand when you have an interim tag, you're not guaranteed to be there next year. And Jordan Poole can find himself, and Brian Keefe can find himself, not even with the Wizards next year. And this move, a lot of people would see it as the beginning of the end. And in the article, again, this was written in Yahoo Sports by Callie Lawson Freeman. Thought it was a great article. And when she talks about Poole having initially lauded for making the most of new beginnings in Washington, it didn't take long for things to take a turn. His shot selection has continued to come under fire as an issue that seemed to reach the peak when he averaged 8 points per game over a 6-game stretch last week. So if you, again, he was perceived as being the savior, or why did he have to get traded? And this guy was averaging 8 points last week. $100 million for that. And the Warriors got rid of him for Chris Paul, who isn't even playing right now, and some draft picks. He went 19 of 72 from the field and 8 of 41 from three-point line in those contests. He's averaging 15.6 points per game this season, a career low since 2020 and 2021 breakout year with the Warriors. His shooting stats of 40% from the field are 30.3% from deep are the lowest since his rookie campaign. So if he's playing this poorly, they're starting rookies over him. It's not because they want him to get better. They're looking at what do they look like without Poole in the lineup? And if it's going to be the same result, why are we paying him? Why are we sticking with this? Because they still lost. And then he came off the bench, and then, he went for double digits. But if you're telling me over his last week, he was averaging 8 points. You sit him on the bench, he comes off the bench, and then he puts up big numbers. Well, you felt like he should have been on the bench the whole time. But Poole is someone who rebounded from being sent to the G League 2 seasons after being a first round pick in 2019. It doesn't seem outlandish to expect him to embrace the changes in the interest of his team's success. I just hate this for that guy. You know, I mean, in 1 minute, they're talking about this guy was going to be the future in Gold State. He gets into a fight with Draymond. He was doing so well, he got an extension. This guy made a $128 million extension. He was doing that good. Gets into a fight with Draymond. Somehow it makes it on the internet. This kid got sucker punched. He's on the ground. Goes to Washington. And, they fire Unseld Jr. Brian Keefe takes over. Brian Keefe puts him on the bench. Starts a rookie in his place. And you can kind of see the writing on the wall. Washington's had enough of Jordan Poole, so he may be on the move after the season's over. And then if you're an NBA team and you look at him and you know he's got the potential to be good, but he also has the tendency to take a slide and a dive, do you gamble on signing him for big money? Can you get him a league minimum? First rounder in 2019. It's only 2024. It'll be 2025. He can get the vet minimum, but I wouldn't waste no big money on him. Again, just a heartbreaking story for Jordan Poole. I think everybody can see it, but him and Brian Keefe can fool himself and say that this was a positive thing, sitting a guy who can put the ball in the hole, but who's been going through offensive slumps, to be fair. And then you try to spin that as a positive. Oh, it's positive we're sitting you. Don't be mad. Don't be mad. Come on, man. What do you mean don't be mad? This is how I get paid. I don't know. Could be wrong. Jordan Poole could end up being he could rebound from this and be back in the starting lineup in Washington, but it seems less likely. This your boy Big Vern. A couple more segments and then we'll get out of here at the top of the hour. App Stupid. Holla at us.